So if you talk about equilibrium and stability, a body is said to be in equilibrium if forces act on it and it does not make any motion or it does not move, we conclude that that body is in equilibrium. So meaning that equilibrium is a state whereby a body is balanced and it experiences no resultant force. So equilibrium can also be called what we call a state. A state of balance is what we call equilibrium. So, and the resultant force of a body when it is in equilibrium is equivalent to 0. So there are conditions for a body to be in equilibrium. One of them is that the sum of forces in one direction should be equal to the sum of forces in the opposite direction. So meaning that if there are forces, let's say pulling upwards and then the forces pulling, so the sum of forces pulling upwards should be equal to the sum of forces pulling downwards. Then secondly, the sum of clockwise moments about any point should be equal the sum of the anti-clockwise moments about the same point. So if you consider a point on that body, the sum of clockwise moments about that point should be equal to the sum of the anti-clockwise moments about the same point. So there are 3 types of equilibrium. The first one is what we call stable equilibrium. Maybe if you have to look at them using this one here. So for stable equilibrium, this is the type of equilibrium whereby a body has a low center of gravity and such that when it is slightly tilted, it returns to its normal position. When slightly tilted, it returns to its normal position. So in this case, you can see this body, its mass is concentrated on the lower end, so it has a low center of gravity, such that when it is slightly tilted, it falls back to its original position. So basically, you can see that the base area is large. So among the ways of increasing, of making a body stable, we have lowering its center of gravity and also increasing the base area. So in such a case, the base area is large and the body has a low center of gravity. Then for unstable equilibrium, in this case, the body has a raised center of gravity. The mass is higher, is concentrated on the upper part. So it has a raised center of gravity such that when it is slightly tilted, the body topples over or it falls over. When you slightly tilt it, it topples, or what we call it falls over when you slightly tilt it. So in this case, the body is in a state of unstable equilibrium. So the base area is small. You can look at this part. The base area is small. So when you slightly tilt it, it falls over. Then for neutral equilibrium, the body has the center of gravity is actually exactly in the middle. So when you slightly tilt it, it just rolls over. When you slightly tilt it, it rolls over. For example, if you look at like a ball, the mass is concentrated in the middle, such that even if you roll it, it just rolls over. There is nothing like it has fallen or it has toppled over, it just rolls over. So if you have to compare the 3 states of equilibrium, basically this is what happens for stable equilibrium, for unstable and neutral. If you have to look at the bases, stable, there is a wide base. Here there is a narrow base, and then here the base is a straight line. The center of gravity for stable is low, for unstable it's high, and for neutral, the center of gravity is at its lowest point or the midpoint. Then when this one is slightly pushed, it returns to the initial position. When this one is slightly pushed, it topples over or it falls over. And when this one is slightly pushed, it remains in its original position.